Okay, it says I'm live. This is an emergency live, so don't panic, anybody. All right. Oops. I just found this about 15 minutes ago. From USA Today, concert goers thought man might carry out a mass shooting. Police now say it was something else. A man carried 2 pistols in a parking lot outside a crowded music festival near George, Washington. That's city of George, Washington, supposedly. It just work with me here. I didn't write this shit. Concert goers on 19 August said they saw him inhale an unknown substance from a balloon and then load the weapons from the trunk of his car. Then, they said, he asked what time the concert ended and where people would be exiting where people would exit the venue. All right. If you're attending the concert, you should know the entry and exit routes. You should know when it ends. You should know all these things. Witnesses alerted authorities about the suspicious man around 2100 and he was arrested. Police originally said the suspect may have had plans to launch a mass shooting spree during the 3-day electronic dance music event at the Gorge Amphitheater. I did a little checking. The Gorge is about 4 hours away from Portland, Oregon. Hold on to that thought. It's relevant. But upon further investigation, authorities do not believe he had the intent of carrying out a mass shooting. The answer to what his intent may have been is not yet disclosable since the investigation is still underway, said Kyle Foreman, Public Information Officer of Grant County Sheriff's Office. However, we can disclose that after being interviewed by detectives and the warrant services now being completed, detectives do not believe he had a mass shooting plan. All right. This caught me very, very strange. Grant County prosecuting attorney Kevin McCrae declined to comment, quote, due to ethics rules regarding speaking about ongoing cases, excuse me. That's never stopped them in the past. There's something else going on here. All right. There's a little bit, apparently you can open carry in Washington. Blah, blah. That wasn't terribly important here. The Gorge Amphitheater does not allow weapons on site. That would not be the case under mandatory carry, but let's move on. But Moody's possession of weapons was not the lone factor for his arrest. No shit. Everything about this case was suspicious. Moody's actions of appearing to inhale an intoxicant, loading weapons in the parking lot, and his questions about where concert goers would be exiting and at what time furthered the suspicion of witnesses and deputies. All right. When the mandatory carry faggot says that you fucked up, you fucked up. First of all, if this guy was actually attending the concert, he would know when it ended, what the routes were, all of this sort of information. Second of all, he wouldn't have needed to load guns out in the parking lot. That doesn't make sense, but let's get past that. Moody's actions of appearing to inhale an intoxicant, right? Under mandatory carry, inebriation is a defense to not being armed. Hey, yeah, officer, my gun is in the car, or my gun is at home, or wherever the hell it is. Me and the boys were going to go get drunk after work. We do this like every day. What's the cop supposed to do? Write the ticket anyway? Let's move on. No, it's not a mandatory exemption. It's conditional exemption. This is an excellent example of why. There was something else. All right. Yep, there it is. If you see something, say something, Grant County Sheriff's Office said in a Facebook post. The concert goers did the right thing by reporting suspicious activity, and we appreciate their involvement. Yeah, so do I. Because this guy was obviously not. Hey guys, hi. Um, oh, this was not. No, this reminds me of something else that happened about 15 years ago. A man climbed up on a billboard along I-5 in Portland, Oregon, wearing an Osama bin Laden mask and flat out brandishing an AK-47. I seen the video. All right, maybe I can even find it still. Osama bin Laden, Portland. Oh, mask, Portland. I should have done this before the stream started. Yeah, there's nothing. That was 15 years ago. And the case was resolved pretty quickly, actually. And mask isn't getting me anywhere because too many stories about COVID masks. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Okay, it is what it is. Seventh Son. I've seen that name before. Anyway, this is about 15 years ago. He's up on that billboard, absolutely brandishing an AK-47 over a major freeway. Oh, well, when the cops finally got there, they got him down, and as they're rolling up, they're saying something's not right with this. They get him down, they find out, oh, it was just an airsoft, and this is a political stunt gone very, very wrong. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got arrested for nothing near that. Right? I was standing on the side of the road wearing paintball armor and was arrested under the exact same theory of a crime. I'm thinking that this guy wanted to create that same kind of chaos at a music venue with the Route 95 concert well in mind with this Portland incident, because they're only 4-hour drive apart. Like, you cannot live in that area even 15 years later and have never heard about the guy with the gun over I-5 wearing the bin Laden mask. That didn't, there's no way he didn't know. This is stupid. This asshole is an example of why political protesters have a permanent and basically irrevocable mandatory exemption. Right? If he's not insane or retarded, this was a political stunt gone very, very wrong. People could have died. He shouldn't have had anything on him anyways, because he's out there sucking on balloons, which, I mean, there's helium. Helium lasts a few seconds. Probably something a little more significant than helium. This guy belongs, bare minimum, in jail. He's already made bail. That's absolutely congratulations. Okay. Asher has said that he's driving to work. I'm not sure why he'd be in a puddle right now, but drive carefully. I am not important enough to wreck. This is going to get a lot more important when I show you story number 2. Brace yourself. I'm feeling a lot better, Bernie. Wish I thought to do that, Asher. You're right. Rob, there was a terrorist incident in Washington State, apparently the 19th. And no, that's only for AJ Squatch. Well, y'all can tell me to go fuck myself. I don't give a shit. Oh, well, no, I don't have time for that. I want to show you story number 2. No, nobody's pregnant that I know of. Because if this does not make your blood boil, especially you, New York, this'll. Well, maybe not as much, but. Remember, they've just released somebody after committing a terrorist incident, creating a false panic in Washington State. Maryland court rules D.C. area sniper to be resentenced. Maryland's highest court has ruled that Washington, D.C. area sniper Lee Boyd Malvo must be resentenced because of U.S. Supreme Court decisions relating to constitutional protection for juveniles made after Malvo was sentenced to 6 life sentences without the possibility of parole. All right. Yes, I'm aware that he was not an adult, but this is far too serious, and he was not some unwilling accomplice. He had every opportunity to get out of this, and he continued anyways. My computer is not great. In its 4-3 ruling, Maryland Court of Appeals said it's unlikely Malvo will ever be released from custody because of the other murders he committed on the other side of D.C. As a practical matter, this may be an academic question. I don't give a shit if it's academic. All right? He should never be allowed outside of prison. The only reason he's not been executed for this is he was underage at the time. And I'm not entirely sure that's okay. Ooh. I'm going to go with this just a little bit. Malvo and his mentor, James Allen Muhammad. This is the first time I've seen the word mentor used. It was always father in the past. So if this guy really is just his mentor, there's even less excuse. Malvo was 17 at the time of the arrest. Remember, some of these actually started when he was 16, carried on into 17. But anyway, they're getting ready to let an actual mass murderer, well, Maryland is getting ready to set this guy up to be released from prison after committing actual mass murder. And here they've got this guy at the Gorge doing essentially the same thing that somebody went to prison in Portland 15 years ago. What the hell is going on in this world? That is actually an unfortunate fact. See, say something, absolutely. This is an example of what not to do between This guy loading guns and getting high in the parking lot of a concert, and Malvo being potentially released from prison, because there's nothing to say that Virginia won't come up with the same conclusion. I know we're talking about Virginia, all right? I'm well aware of the facts before anybody even says it. I'm well aware that Virginia and Maryland is exactly not the same place. Sisters who've been fighting since before they were born. But Virginia might come up with the same conclusion at the end of the day. And Malvo will then be released. There is no excuse for what the guy in Washington did. Even less excuse for supposed experts in Maryland. That's the truth. To be doubling down on it by potentially releasing somebody who went all the way. This guy in Washington may have just actually been preparing for a DC sniper scenario. He got caught right away. He may have been preparing for a Route 95 scenario, and he got caught right away because it's too stupid. Stupidity is not a defense. All right. Those two incidents by themselves should show you just how true this really is. The system is completely fucked backwards. All right. Literal criminals are walking away from prison, or potentially walking away from prison. And somebody commits a terrorist attack and he's already out on bail. I don't care if this was an attempted suicide by cop. Fuck you, Apple. It's the truth. I don't care if this was a protest gone wrong. All right. This is insanity itself. And I only found this because I found a different story, a letter to the editor that I want to address. But that'll have to wait for Thursday. If these two incidents don't convince you that you need to carry 24/7, basically, you need to have your head examined somehow. I know people think I'm insane. I'm not. I'm sociopathic, all right, but I'm not insane. I could stand trial. These guys are insane, and they doesn't matter how they still, including the guy from Portland, got their hands either on a firearm or something that looked like enough of a firearm to create a panic. That by itself would have been enough to actually get people killed. You know, people down on I-5 who are swerving because they see a guy with a gun up on a billboard over the freeway. Okay. Tell me to go fuck myself. mandatorycarry@gmail.com. Keep calm and mandatory carry on.